Perek Daled, Mishna Daled. We talk about the Kiddush HaChodesh, and we're going to learn about two takanos that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made with regard to Kiddush HaChodesh. We have to understand a few things about Rosh Chodesh. Number one, Rosh Chodesh could be either day 30 of the previous month or day 31. Those are the two options. If the Eidim come on day 30, so then that day will be Rosh Chodesh. If they come the next day, then that day will be Rosh Chodesh. In the time of the Beis HaMikdash, it was very, very important to know when was Rosh Chodesh, because they had to bring a carbon musaf. If the Eidim would come very late in the day, and that day would be turned into Rosh Chodesh, they need to have enough time to bring the carbon musaf. Also, the Levim would sing a special song on Rosh Chodesh, and especially this was very important on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the only Yom Tov that is on an actual day of Rosh Chodesh, and therefore they made a takana that always the 30th day of Elul would always be celebrated as Rosh Hashanah, and the 31st day was also. If the Eidim came on the 30th, then that day would actually be the Rosh Hashanah, and they would bring the karbanos for Rosh Hashanah. If the Eidim did not come on that day, then they wouldn't bring the karbanos for Rosh Hashanah on that day, they would bring it the next day. But even if the Eidim did not come on the 30th day, nevertheless that day was still considered a Yom Tov, a day that they would not do any work, because they were not sure perhaps that day would be established as Rosh Hashanah. Let's see this in the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Barishoina, in the beginning, they would accept the witnesses to give testimony for the new moon, Kol Hayoim, the entire day, the 30th day of the month. Pamachas, one time, Nishtohu Eidim, the Eidim were delayed, Milavoi, from coming. And because of this, V'niskalkulu haLevim, the Levim got messed up, Bashir, with the song. They were not sure whether that day was a regular day's song that they sang, or it was supposed to be a special day for Rosh Chodesh. Especially that time it was actually Rosh Hashanah. They didn't know what to do, which song to sing. So because of this, Hiskinu, they made a takana, Shalo Yuhu Mekablin, that they would not accept the witnesses, Ela Ad HaMincha, until the time of Mincha. That way, if the Eidim came before Mincha, they would have plenty of time to announce that day as Rosh Chodesh, and that day would be Rosh Hashanah, and they would be able to bring all the karbanos, and the Levim would be able to sing the proper song. However, the imbohu are Eidim, if the Eidim came min ha-mincha ulamayla, from that time onwards, later on, so then they would not announce that day as Rosh Hashanah. Rather, what would they do? Noyhagin, they would observe Oisoi Hayoim, that day, the 30th, Kodesh, as holy. They wouldn't do any malacha on that day. And also, Ulamachar, the next day, Kodesh would also be considered Kodesh. That day would be established as Rosh Hashanah. This was all while the Beis HaMikdash was standing, because we needed to know when to bring the carbon musaf, and we needed for the Levim to sing the proper song. However, Mishachar Rav Beis HaMikdash, once the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, Hiskin Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made a takana, Sheyuhu Mekablin Eidas HaChodesh, that they should accept the witnesses to give testimony for the new moon, Kol Hayoim, the entire day, the way it used to be all the way in the beginning, because now there was no concern about having to bring a carbon musaf or for the Levim to sing the wrong song. Another takana. Omer Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha says, V'oid zois, and also, Hiskin Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made another takana, Sha'afilu roish bezdin, that even if the head of the bezdin, b'chol makim, is in another place, for some reason he is in another place. So the question is, do the Eidim go after the roish bezdin? Do they have to follow him to where he is? Or do they go to the place where the bezdin is permanently established? So that the takana was that even if the roish bezdin is in another place, shelo yuhu ha'edim holchin ella limukayim havad, that the Eidim should only go to the place where the gathering of the Dayanim are, where the bezdin is established. Does not have to go and follow after the roish bezdin, and the person to say mukudush will be one of the members of the bezdin.